All right. Video number 2. Coming back in with what I've done so far in my AI journey. So, other day was just the introduction of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, how I'm going to do it. And I mentioned that I've already done some stuff, including make my own website, learn AI prompting, learn AI automations, which we'll go over all of those in a 3-part series. Right now, we're on part 1, what I've done, how to prompt AI. Oh, you can't even see the title. It's up here. But so what I've done, how to prompt AI. Cool. Thank you, Grammarly, for my terrible typing. All right. So this, I mentioned in the last video about how I spent a lot of time on this and like took days because I really, in my mind, I enlarged it basically. And it shouldn't be enlarged. It's something very, very small and very easy to do. So the first thing I did was, how do I learn AI prompting? I was like, oh, what do I do? So I sat there and I was like, okay, let me go to ChatGPT and tell it to write me a report. So what I did was deep ChatGPT research on how to prompt AI, right? And basically, what that did was spit out, for like 12 minutes, it spit out this whole research document on how to prompt. Let me see. It's the AI automation plan. Hold on, let me just look for it real quick. Okay, so I couldn't find it, so I was like, let's just do it all together. So first thing you do is go to ChatGPT, go to your deep research, right? Let's say I know nothing about how to prompt AI. Make me a comprehensive list of sources where I can go to learn. Include everything a beginner would need to know to prompt AI. All right, let's see. Now it's going to ask me a bunch of BS questions. In the system, it makes it do this. It'll ask you questions even if they're stupid. Are you interested in prompting basic AI? Let's just do just AI for now, just ChatGPT. Do you prefer free? Free. Only free. Do you learn best through videos? Or let's do just articles. And number 4, are you looking for prompting guides, specific cases, just a general foundation? So this is exactly what you guys could do. If you want to learn anything, basically, it could spit this out for you itself. But it's just what I did. And then it'll start its research. And basically, I recall the first things I read through was ChatGPT's own, like OpenAI's comprehensive guide on how to prompt. And then I read another person's article, which it should pop up here. If not, I'll go to it myself. But let me pull those up and come back when it's done researching. Okay, so I just went through my history to figure out what sites I used to learn, and this will do the research. It'll come up with its own sources, but we can come back to this later. But let me show you guys what I personally use. So, prompt engineering from OpenAI's actual platform, and basically this just goes through and shows what ChatGPT is, what a prompt looks like, choosing a model. So we can go through this really fast and give you guys a crash course. So basically, choosing a model, ChatGPT models update all the time, right? So right now, 4.1 is really, really good, but apparently they're coming out with, well, actually they just came out with 4.5 research preview, and they're coming out with ChatGPT 5.0 pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that. It's always going through. Prompt engineering, what is it? Prompt engineering is just a way to get an AI to do exactly what you want it to do and tell it what you want it to do, right? So it's if you want it to do a task, you can't just say do this task. You have to give it certain steps. Okay. So let's see. Let's go scroll through for the start. Developer user assistant. We can talk about that later when we're actually using N8N. Message formatting. Identity. Okay, this is perfect actually. So there's steps you got to go through when you're prompting an AI. First is the identity. This is where you tell it who it is. So you could say, you are a master marketer and you are the best marketer in the world. You have the best abilities. You've studied for 1,000 years, blah, blah, blah. You hype it up with all this, like what it is. And then after you tell it what it is, it knows how to act. Or you are the best teacher. You've been teaching for 20 years. You are a Yale professor with yada, yada, yada years of experience, blah, blah, blah. You guys get the point. After you tell it who it is, you then give it the instructions. Okay? And then, like, tell it what do you want to do. So let's go back to the teacher one. You are a Yale teacher. I want you to teach me how to prompt AI. You have to be very specific with your instructions. Don't go through snake holes. Don't go through rabbit holes. Sorry. Don't go through all these different rabbit holes, these tunnels. Just go straight to the point. I want it to be a crash course. I want it to be learnable in 30 minutes. Go. And then you give it examples. Like, what is the first part of an AI prompt? And then it'll give the answer, like how it should act. Examples really, 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 really help your prompt. That's a very important aspect. It is probably one of the most important parts because you can tell it what to do, but without an example, it has its own imagination to do whatever it wants and it can hallucinate. That's a very important thing you guys need to know. AIs can hallucinate fake imagery, fake data, fake sources. It'll just say stuff based on what you tell it. You can tell it you're a Yale professor and it just starts making stuff up. That's a very, very common thing that happens. So when you give your instructions, you say, do not hallucinate and give examples so that it has a rough guideline to go through. Few shot learning is basically where you try this, try that, fine tune the model. Again, I'm going through this fast because of how genuinely simple it is. So A, identity. You're a helpful assistant that labels short product reviews as positive, negative, or neutral. This is who it is. Instructions. Only output a single word. No additional formatting. Your response should only be positive, negative, or neutral given on the sentiment. Examples. This is where you give it the rough guideline, the strict guideline. I absolutely love this headphone. Sound quality is amazing. This is the product review. So it should come out and tell you positive. Assistant response, positive. Product review ID, battery life is okay, but the ear pads feel cheap. Assistant response, neutral. It's very self-explanatory. There's those three. This is just the most basic. It's just there's three parts of a prompt: the identity, the instructions, and the examples. That's all you really need, right? And then the relevant context. So if you guys decide to go through and learn all this and deep dive more, a lot of the prompts it tries to teach is for chatbots, right? It uses that as a like staple for explanations. Chatbots are difficult because when you're talking to a client, you want to make sure you don't mess up anything. So it has to be super specific, many examples. Don't say this. You can't mention politics. You can't mention this. If they say anything that is not about the product, tell them you can't go do that and say, can I help you with anything to do with this product? Right? So, and then you can also give it context. You can say only pull things from the user manual or from the website manual. That's for like a chatbot. Okay, that's cool. Yada, yada. And then all this. That's done. That's it. That's a crash course on this. All you need to know. Here, focus up. All you need to know for a prompt, you give it the identity, you give it the instructions, you give it the examples. This is for any sort of normal prompting. Now, this guy right here, Maximilian Vogel, he's who really helped me a lot. I don't know him personally, but his articles have helped me a lot in prompting. And it goes through, let me reread this. He has many articles. Let me see which one this is. Why prompt design is important. Obviously, handle off-topic questions. Customer experience. Again, they all talk about chatbots for some reason. I don't know why, but they all do. Table of contents, got to be specific. Define the output format. Tell it what it's supposed to say. What are the answers you want? Like, for example, in the last one, I said the output, I only want positive, neutral, and negative. Use chain of thought reasoning, use prompt templates, add data context rag, which is just like either the context of that's the conversation history. That's the context of in like if you're a chatbot, you only want the manual used or whatnot, right? Format the prompt. So number one, be specific. Be very, very, very specific with your AI as much as possible. So in this one, he gives an example. Which is the best Star Wars episode? He gives a bunch of BS. As an AI model, I don't have personal experience, blah, 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 blah. Yawn, right? Now you give an identity. Act as my movie buddy, chatting with me about our favorite movies. You give short, pointed answers. Max is the output. Short, pointed answers that are funny and witty. Sometimes that's something back. This is a very simple prompt. Obviously, you can tell it's missing a lot of steps. Which is the best Star Wars episode? Oh, that's easy to pick, blah, blah, blah. Again, so that worked. This is very good. This is the prompt instruction cheat sheet. Prompt instruction cheat sheet. The first is the persona, the identity. Define a behavior with many individual facets. So this is the example. Act as a sensitive elderly psychotherapist, as a patient support staff, as a professional journalist, as a car, blah, blah, blah. You are Selma Brand, a 28-year-old gunslinger who lost her family in a bandit raid on a blah, 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 blah. That's the identity. Super simple. The user persona. This is how you want it to act. Explain it to someone with an MSc in software engineering like to a 5-year-old child. Summarize the list. Verb, summarize the list. Class, again, you're just telling it what to do. A list, output format, a list of steps, length, up to 3 sentences, tonality, be empathetic, edge cases. If you can't answer the question based on the provided context, tell the user you can't. Whitelist conversation topics. Discuss only the operation of coffee machines, blah, blah. This is specifically usually used for chatbots. If you're given it a very complex task, you could also tell it that too. Just so it doesn't blabber on about things you don't care about. So, what's a good one? What's a good one we could use? All right, that's cool. Our research finished in 8 minutes. OpenAI Help Center, comprehensive prompt guides. Again, you really do not need any of this. Let me think. Okay. Let's do this. We want to learn how to chat. Okay. Let's say, okay. You are an AI developer teaching his students on YouTube how to prompt AI. Right? We gave the identity. Cool. Instruction. I want you to give a list of examples that you as the developer can use to teach his students on how to prompt. Short instruction list. I want you to give a list of examples that you as a developer can use to teach your students on how to prompt. And then let's say that the output, only give scenarios that are easy to prompt, where we can find a clear identity, instructions, output instructions, and examples for the prompt. Examples. You could tell them about how to prompt as a teacher teaching, let's pick rocket science to his students. I'll give a very thorough example of what the prompt should look like in a second and what it looks like for your AI automations. Let's see what this gives us. Teacher, explain rocket science to 5th grade teachers. Identity, you are a 5th grade science teacher. Instructions, explain how rockets launch into space. Output instructions, use simple words, keep under 5 sentences. Example, prompt. 5th grade science teacher, by rockets launch into space. Example, output. Chef writing a recipe for beginners. Identity, you are a professional chef. Instructions, write a recipe for scrambled eggs. Output, list the ingredients, then give step-by-step instructions. Example, this is the prompt, this example, output, ingredients, steps. Perfect. Super simple, super easy. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with AI automations? Let me show you. Sign in, blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. What's a good workflow? My workflow, this one maybe. Which one was this? Which one? Let's see. Messenger model. We'll get into all this later. Okay, let me explain this. There's a system user and assistant. This basically, N8N will explain it, and I'll go into N8N later and all this, but there's different types of prompts, right? So for N8N, when you want to automate a task, you want to push it through OpenAI, right? So you have a system prompt, which is the identity. It sets the model's behavior or context for the user message. This is the identity. So for this one, this was my cold email automation. You are a skilled cold email copywriter who creates conversational, curiosity-driven outreach for Charlotte area service businesses, HVAC, landscaping, construction, roofing. Your approach: start emails with industry-specific observations or challenges. Write like a local business person who genuinely understands their world. Use storytelling. Ask genuine questions. Write in conversational paragraphs. Include southern, blah, blah, blah. Tone and goal. So this is a very, very, very thorough system prompt. And Claude actually made this for me. Claude is another form of an LLM, large language model, which is like OpenAI, but it's a bit more better with difficult tasks and with like real tasks. So this is the prompt. Write a conversational, let me go back. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's the system. This is the user. This is the main prompt for your automation, what you want it to do. Right, so we're giving it its identity, which was a little bit more specific than need be, to be honest. You really could have just used this and it been set. But for an automation where I wanted cold emails, super specific, Claude just really gave me a very specific one, right? So you have your user and your assistant. We'll get into assistant later. This is the main prompt, user prompt right here. Identity. Right? Well, no, this is what you want to do. Write a conversational, curiosity-driven, cold outreach email for a blue-collar business owner that feels like the start of a genuine business conversation. Right? This is what you're telling it to do. You already gave it the identity in the system prompt. So this is the main prompt. Instructions. First name. I'll get into all this later. First name, company, industry. And then this is a bunch of jargon that when I make the video of how I made this automation, it'll all be explained, but this just shows the format of the prompt so you understand what you're doing when you're prompting. So you're giving your instructions, the core guidelines, subject line, make it industry specific, direct business, do not mention this, do not mention that. This is through trial and error, the fine tuning. We said the AI kept mentioning that, oh, I've seen your trucks around town. What if they don't have trucks? I didn't like that. So I said, do not mention trucks around town. Use natural punctuation variety. Avoid M dashes. If you know anything about AI, you know ChatGPT loves those freaking dashes, and they're a clear giveaway that you use ChatGPT. So avoid using M dashes entirely. It's very important. Your tone, and this is the example here. Email structure. Opening options. Rotate between these. With summer season, I imagine this company has been relevant activity. I've seen company around Charlotte and positive observation. So these are the structure for the opening. The body content. Brief introduction. I'm Sam, a local automation consultant helping Charlotte businesses streamline their admin work. I wanted to use abbreviated company name so it's not so robotic sounding. Share one challenge that focuses on the relatable problem. One local owner mentioned that when busy situation challenge becomes a real headache. Recently heard from another owner that this blah, 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 blah. And then the closing. Bang. What to avoid. Repetitive story intros, overly specific details in stories, Don't use direct commercial sounding sounds. Use curious phrasing. Blah, 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 blah. Challenge scenarios. Write the scenario message with your email number. Email number 1. Oh, yeah. This is because it was using the exact same one for every email. So I gave it like 5 instructions per email. So it would go email 1. This would go this route. Email 2 would go this route. Email 3 would go that route. And then bang. Sample structure. Clear example. Subject. Natural observation about the company. Hi, first name, varied opening, which we've stated before. I'm Sam, a local automation consultant helping Charlotte businesses streamline their work. Genuine question about their experience. I've helped a few local companies automate. Might be worth sharing what's working. Available this day for a quick call. Any work for you? Sam, my phone number, and my website. Cool. Awesome. So now our assistant. Let's see what it says here. Tell the model to adopt a specific tone and personality. So N8N is really good with making it easy for beginners. And it breaks down the prompt for you. I've made this hyper specific because of the design of the prompts, because it was going to cold emails. I didn't want any mistakes. And it was very easy to do, and I'll show you how to do it with Claude. So let's see here. We can go to expression. Only output the final cold format, starting with subject line labeled subject and followed by the email body ready to send. Do not include. This is just what I want for the output. So you see how the prompt is broken up into specific pieces, 3 separate pieces. And I've included so much extra into this because of how hyper specific I want it to be. But you don't have to do that at all. So let me go to Claude. This is Claude. It's literally just like ChatGPT, just a little bit smarter when you ask it to do more decisive stuff. ChatGPT is better at talking with you. Claude is better at solving solutions. So, let's do this. Write me an N8N prompt for cold emails for white collar business. I'm going to change it up a little bit. Make it personal with a curious tone and make it as if I know them. Right, so you see how we don't have to go through a full prompt every time we talk to a large language model? It's because this will figure it out for me, basically. That's why I don't, short video, 23 minutes, but it's not, to understand a prompt is not that important because this will do it for you. You just have to know what's going on so you're not walking in blind. So, all right, let's go. It's going to make me a prompt in like 2 seconds. Intro, identity. You are writing a personalized cold email for white collar business outreach campaign. Boom. That's the kind of the identity. Context. This is the instructions. Company name, contact title, company industry, blah, 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 blah. And what it's outputting here, this is called JSON. This is the language of N8N. And we'll get into all that in the future. Tone and style, write as if you've been following their company, genuinely curious about their approach. Conversational warm, email structure, email line, something personal about the recent achievement, body, blah, 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 blah. So now let me give you guys a tip. Let's say you get this prompt. Okay, you're like, okay, this is cool. What you can do is you can copy the prompt, open a new chat, and tell it to rate this prompt and tell me how it could be better. So you're kind of like sifting it. You know when you sift for gold, you get a lot of dirt in. And you sift till you get to the gold itself. This is basically doing that. Again, that's why it's not that important to learn, because you can just do this and it'll fix it. Now it'll give me an even better prompt. Rating, 7 out of 10. This is a solid prompt with good structure, strengths, ambiguous placeholder, missing key variables, more specific examples. Remember what I said earlier, examples are super important. Clear success metrics, enhanced personalization guideline. Okay, now rewrite my prompt to make it a super prompt, a 10 out of 10 prompt that will never fail me. Again, we're sifting through gold, sifting. There we go. I didn't have to write any of this. Boom. Identity. You are an expert cold email writer with a 40% plus response rate track record. Your specialty is crafting personalized, curious emails. Boom. Identity. Bang. Perfect. Context variables. The instructions. Company name. Blah, blah, blah. Additional variables. Core principles. Tone. Forbidden phrases. Email structure. It's the structure. These examples. See, it'll probably give me an example at the end here too. Quality checklist. Adaptations, example, output, subject, contact name, specific opener, thoughtful question, brief, best, sender name, success metrics, target. Boom, 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 boom. Look how easy that was. So easy for us to do, right? And I was an idiot for taking so long to learn all this, because then I realized that I could just do this, keep sifting through gold for gold. Now, rate this prompt for me. Even better. Pasted it right here. Enter. Bang, bang. This is an exceptionally well-crafted prompt. Demonstrates sophisticated of effective goal strategy. I'd rate it 9 out of 10. Okay, this is a good tip. Something I've learned. After you quote-unquote sift twice, after this, it's not going to be as effective. So I could tell it to make me a better prompt, and then I could rerun it through this until it's rated again, and it could be a 8 out of 10. Because there's like a certain limit it has, and it just won't get any better. So 2, so you don't waste your time, is good. Do 2, and you should have all you need, basically. Like, I'll tell it. Let's see. Okay, rewrite me a better prompt now. And when I upload this, I guarantee it's probably not going to be better than 9 out of 10. I don't think it's going to tell me it's 10 out of 10. But it's just what you'll notice is just getting more specific and adding more points. So last time I said with a 40% response rate, and now it's 12+% positive response rate. Just getting more and more specific. That's why it's not important to understand how to do it, because it can do it for you. You just have to understand how it works. And then here it goes. Wow. This is a crazy prompt. Holy shit. Jeez. Oh my god. Never mind, guys. This might be a 10 out of 10. Holy shit. I'm joking though. There's no way it's 10 out of 10. I don't think it'll ever tell me it's 10 out of 10, because the way LLMs work, if you ask it to tell me how it could be better, it's going to assume that it could be better, and then therefore it won't give you a 10 out of 10. So let me copy. Write this prompt for me until I could be even better. Okay. Oh my god. Let me see what it says. 8.5. See? It'll go down. After 2, you're good. After 2, you don't need any more. And you don't want it super complex. It'll take more tokens out, which, that was the wrong thing. What was I looking at? Right here. It'll take more tokens, and which we'll talk about later, but tokens cost more money, and you don't need it to be super complex. The more complex it is, the more room you give it to make errors, basically. So that's basically it, honestly, for teaching AI prompts. I don't think there's anything else. Let me see. All right, bang. So I just had AI write me like a summary of what we've done, basically. This is like, it thought it was making a video for me, right? What makes a great prompt? Great prompts giving super highly skilled directions to a super highly skilled assistant who's eager but needs guidance. The identity, who should it be? Define it clearly. Bad, help with marketing. Good, you're an experienced digital marketing strategist with 10 years in e-commerce. I, instructions. What exactly do you want? Be specific. Bad, write about social media. Good, write 500 blog posts on Instagram for trends for small businesses. Examples, show, don't tell. And then refine it. Refine. Then there's chain of thought command. So, yeah, I didn't cover this, but chain of thought is basically where you tell it how to think one step at a time. So before giving me the answer, walk me through your reasoning step by step, think through his problem out loud, then provide a conclusion. That helps stop assumptions. Well, we kind of did. Remember the hallucinations? This kind of helps stop hallucinations. And then role playing is part of the identity. Imagine you're blanks talking to a specific audience. Respond as if you're explaining this to a 5-year-old or CEO. The iterative improvement loop. First prompt, get initial response, analyze, refine, repeat twice. My personal workflow. This is basically what I did. Research, structure creation, content development, quality filter. Just repetition of all we've been doing. Mistakes, being too vague. I've said it like 500 times. Not setting context. That's important. The examples. Accepting the first results. Blah, 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 blah. You guys get it. This is super simple. I don't want to waste too much time on this because there's a lot more stuff that's way, way, way more confusing that could honestly take more time. So that's basically it. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. Maybe I'll make a shorter blast guide, maybe. I don't know. Tomorrow, what we're going to talk about is how I made my website. And then we're going to go into how to actually learning how to actually use N8N, which is probably the most important part of all of this. But this is good to know because you're going to use a large language model in almost all of your workflows. This message model right here. So yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for watching, and until tomorrow.